slide, welcome Jeremy Tanner.
Thanks so much for that, and thanks for having me out here. Super excited to be here. Good afternoon, Petaluma Pythonistas. Buckle yourselves up for toys that make me angry, and not just because you left them on the floor. I'm a dad, and like all of our dads, I'm not so much angry as just disappointed. Okay, I am still angry though. Anyway, understanding that we've got the last talk of the day. I am standing between you and wine. It's getting cold. I will try to make this quick. But first off, please hands together for the organizers. I'm loving being here. I'm hoping you are as well. The previous speakers have been fantastic. I've learned a lot so far between the mesh networking, best ways to interact with AI, and I should probably do mine instead of theirs. Are there Lego fans out there? Yes! Nice. So I certainly am. I love building sets either by myself or with my kids. And this is the patent for Lego's interlocking building bricks. In 2011, their toy building block patent had expired, and other companies were free to make building block toys. So what do you do when intellectual property rights aren't your differentiator anymore? Anyone can make blocks just like you do. A while ago, so there's things that aren't Lego. Anyone can make them. I came across this set and I built it with my daughter. And you can say, like, that's not Lego, and the patent thing, remember? This one is from K''Nex. It is the Mario and Standard Kart building set. First off, that is a terrible name. A lesson here was probably be careful naming things and understand your print deadlines. They can and will ship your placeholder set. They can and will ship your placeholder text. Yeah, Ernest Hemingway would love this. You could cut 66% of the words. Anyway, Mario Kart. This was an incredibly frustrating experience. We took and opened the wedge-shaped box, we poured the pieces out, and we unfolded the instructions. This is the extent of the K'Nex instructions for the Mario and Standard Building Kart set. It's supposed to come together in 7 steps. If that feels like too few, it's because it is. Diffing from step to step is really confusing. They're using color change to indicate new parts. We've got arrows going to things that led to us building and then unbuilding and then rebuilding to correct our best guess assemblies. Now, once the cart was built, it was time to chop Mario in half, all Darth Maul style, and mount his severed torso on the adapter. For whatever reason, they gave him legs, but you're not supposed to use them. Lego would never. So elsewhere on the box front, we're going to call attention to this pullback motor. Play with me! My box is a wedge! Take me off some sweet jumps. We did. And that resulted in this. Once assembled, this toy did not withstand the play that it had requested. And I kept it, thinking that it'd be a good, bad example. My brain is particularly broken in that way, where in addition to the assembly of it, I thought, I'm so angry about this needs to be a conference talk. I need to burden a West Coast audience with this shitty toy. So if that's bad, what would be good? I suppose the contrast of a good example is useful, and we already know who does it well. It's in the talk title. This here is the Audi Sport Quattro. It lives on my desk when my son isn't playing with it. Even when he's rough with it, it comes back usable. But it's not just quality because it's structurally sound. We should have a look at the supporting physical and digital assets that make it fun to play with. This is a bill of materials, or a Lego requirements.txt, or some clear dependencies for what we're going to need for our car project. I can see everything that's supposed to be there. I can tell if something's missing. I know what I'm going to need to do before I start. We're not going to waste time. Oh, do we see down there? That is a support phone number and a website. Be still, my beating heart. I can talk to a human, or a retrievally augmented generated response that's been parsed into text, but they're parsed into voice, but that's something. All right, these are what Lego steps look like. The requisite parts for every step are detailed, and if you want to know if you have the right piece, you can measure it against the page because it's actual life scale. When you make the smaller pieces, they show you where to attach the subassembly to the existing model assembly that you already have, how it works with the thing that you built. It doesn't stop there, though. Like, Lego's not just about what's in the box. The Audi Sport Quattro, you can see in the tiny red text, it's a retired product. But they're not selling it anymore. Folks are online for lots more money because once it's retired, it becomes even more desirable. Anyway, Lego keeps those instructions on their site anyway. Maybe you bought it, threw the instructions away, maybe it's coming to you secondhand off eBay, maybe you're finding it in the attic after there's no longer even a United States anymore, but like you're trying to entertain yourself. Hopefully there will be an internet. I showed you the connects instructs earlier. They didn't look as good. There's a reason for that. That's because they're not available anywhere on the internet, so I had to take photos of the copy that I had. I'm over on Lego's site. Make your site useful, and your users will do other things once they're there. Will they buy stuff? Probably. Will they find out about new features? Probably as well. But not if your site is trash, not updated, or doesn't exist. All right, so one of these toys lives in the box of shame, and the other is continually upgraded. My son thought that the car could use some flames, and he calls these pewers. Because you pew, pew, pew with them. So he's not Adrian Newey, but he's getting there. So building these two vehicles reminded me a lot of working with many of the projects I've encountered here. My work often requires quickly familiarizing myself with these and other digital toys. I'm just asking you to think. The way someone will experience your product first, or project, has a high probability of being your docs or the repo. If you're doing business type things, technical writers exist. Please hire them. If you're not doing business type things, like Phil said this morning, recruit them to your project. Meshtastic could certainly use documentation help, and that's not, please somebody go do this. You are somebody. I am somebody. All right. It is now time for a non-sponsored ad read. We mentioned PyPI on the last slide. Yesterday, they served 2 billion downloads. It's about 1 million a minute, about 23,000 a second, and it's been used from stage today already. The Python package index, PyCon US, community gatherings like North Bay Python, and more grant programs than we have time to list are the responsibility of the Python Software Foundation. How many supporting members of the Python Software Foundation do we have out there? I like it, but we gotta get those numbers up. Your homework is to go to python.org and join the PSF as a supporting member, please. If you have a corporate match available to you, if you're doing the capitalism thing, double it by asking your work to join you as well. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Please think of the missing steps when writing documentation or instructions. These aren't just breadcrumbs for yourself. Try and think about things through a new user or someone who's coming to you fresh through their eyes. We've all seen the world's saddest readmes with a hash to do and absolutely nothing further. Lego has the concept of illegal assembly, and that's because you will either break the pieces or your model is not going to be structurally sound. Is it possible to hold your project, product, or service wrong? Let users know what you play poorly with. Be honest about what you don't do and what you're not a good use for. If you have docs, please version them. The old stuff is still out there, still running. Help folks find out how it used to work. Help them understand how to get current. One of the time series databases I was working with had old documentation. I couldn't remember how it should be working, and was able to flip down to version 1.0. You changed everything, breaking changes. Easier than reading yourself all the way through the release notes. Try and make the thing that you're making extensible by others. This particular set, I had a good time building. It was a set that came out of CUSO, an AFOL, or Adult Fan of Lego community project. The Lego Corporation eventually brought it in-house as ideas.lego.com. You probably have more fans and users outside of your company, outside of your project, than inside. You can promote their hacks, highlight their integrations, talk about their use cases, and put them in your awesome list. So Ideas is a site for the community to propose sets. They get voted on, and if they don't violate the wrong intellectual property agreements, they might get made. You maybe think of these as your GitHub issues or PRs, things that people are wishing for. For myself, I am super hoping that the Severance set gets made. I would love to be able to refine metadata at home. Your Audi code's in Python. All right, so among the hashtag to-dos, what are you supposed to do? Beyond becoming a supporting member of the PSF. First would probably rewatch Kattni's talk. Stole a fair amount of the thunder, but put it very well. I'm glad there's not thunder out here now. Choose a good name. We went over that. The name that you call something is probably going to be with you a lot longer than you think. GitHub has done a good job of proposing community standards that go into the repo where code goes. Have a README, a code of conduct, ways that you accept contributions if you accept contributions. Don't pretend to accept contributions and then not accept those contributions. Have a license, ideally a permissive one, but that's very much up to you. A way to report security issues, and then templates. Make it easier than a free-form text box to say what an issue is. If you know the kind of shape and form those issues are going to be coming in, make it easier on yourself for folks to report them. Same thing with the pull request templates. You can go to opensource.guide that GitHub made. All those are detailed out. Great things to have in a repo to get started with. Also, your to-do, please be kind. Most folks are trying their best, whether they're asking you for something or helping you out. When we play, we're building for fun. When we work, we're building for money, but both require the same care and same sorts of action. Be kind and remember that you're not entitled to free work. The community does not work for you, but they will work with you if you're pulling as well. That goes for the requester. If you're asking for something, be willing to do as much as you can to help that happen. Offering to maintain or contribute is very welcome to most projects. Most people, if they're independent, made something out of necessity, and putting it onto GitHub is not an offer to maintain it for free forever. If you see something that is useful to you, and it could use better docs, and it could use better tests, jump in there and offer. And that's about all. This talk was just as much for me as it is for you. I'm not better than you. I'm probably very much worse. C.S. Lewis or somebody else said, lots of people have, we don't need to be taught as often as we need to be reminded. If you felt extremely seen or even possibly personally attacked, that wasn't the intention, but I feel it's a very common state of being. But let's do better together. It's not enough to make the parts fit together. We're going to need to empower other folks to play. And that play can be business or can just be the fun times. That's me. I'm Jeremy Tanner. I'm a dad, a Lego fan, a Pythonista. Please find me if you want to talk Lego or infrastructure or rally cars or patent law or mesh networks or magic math boxes that do compute really fast. Thank you.